Hi everyone, it is Yasmin here, and in this week's video I wanted to talk to you all about my top 5 food myths that people believe. So we have all been told some weird and wonderful facts or myths, when it comes to nutrition and food, such as carrots can help you see in the dark, or that crusts make your hair go curly. And what I wanted to do is just select a few that I often hear and really break them down to explain why they are myths. So number one is that oranges contain the most vitamin C. Now, oranges are often the holy grail when it comes to vitamin C content, but actually other fruits such as strawberries, for example, have a slightly higher content of vitamin C, and kiwi fruits have a much higher content of vitamin C than both oranges and strawberries. So don't always just shoot for the orange juice if you want to increase your intake of vitamin C. Number two is that cooking fruits and vegetables leads to nutrient loss. Now, it is true that boiling your broccoli or carrots until they have lost all their colour can leach out some of the nutrients. However, some vegetables are actually more nutritious for us when they are cooked. So tomatoes are a brilliant example of this, as when they are cooked slightly, their lycopene, which is their antioxidant content, does increase. And it's released more through the cooking. So my advice would be, when it comes to vegetables, to either lightly steam or blanch them rather than maybe boiling, just because we don't want to lose some of the nutrients. But it is not the case that raw is always better. Number three is that you burn calories while you eat celery. So this myth is a classic one, but it's definitely not true, as no food contains a negative calorie content. So celery is a vegetable that does contain very few calories naturally, but the energy used up when consuming it doesn't counterbalance the calories that it contains. So if you enjoy eating celery in your salads or as a crudité with dips, then please carry on. But if you were chomping away on the celery as a tool to increase your calorie burn, then I'm really sorry to have burst your bubble there. The fourth one is that eggs are bad for your cholesterol levels. Now, eating eggs and their effect on cholesterol levels is an area of science which is very misunderstood. However, what the most recent research and expert opinion is showing is that for an average healthy person, so someone that doesn't have, heart disease or diabetes, that eating eggs and including the yolks does not have a negative impact on your health, and it doesn't directly impact your cholesterol levels. So the body is very clever, and if you have a higher dietary consumption of cholesterol, such as the cholesterol in eggs, then our bodies will produce less from the liver. So that's our body's way of trying to regulate our cholesterol levels. Now, we do need cholesterol, for example, to make certain hormones. So the female sex hormones are all made from cholesterol, and the male sex hormones as well. So we definitely need cholesterol in our diet. But what the science shows is that actually a higher intake of saturated fats, so those found in butter, ghee, lard, coconut oil, fatty cuts of meat, and fried foods, having a high intake of those actually increases our risk of having high cholesterol levels, rather than consuming foods that are naturally high in cholesterol, such as eggs. So while the consumption of some saturated fats is not detrimental to our health, we do need to try and reach a balance, and it is advised to be consuming a higher ratio or proportion of unsaturated fats, such as olive oil, nuts, seeds, oily fish, and avocado, in comparison with the saturated fats, just to maintain healthy cholesterol levels. But it is okay for us and healthy for us to be consuming eggs when it comes to cholesterol. And number 5 is that nuts are too fattening. So this is something that I often hear a lot. People telling other people, oh, don't have nuts as a snack because they're too fattening. And it's something that I really wanted to dispel. So firstly, fattening is, you know, a bit of a grey area. Like, what does it mean? So in theory, any food can become fattening if you consume too much of it or if it leads to weight gain. So that's my first issue. But secondly, we really must try and remove this negative connotation to foods that naturally contain fats, for example, nuts. So although the diet industry has led us to believing that that fats found in nuts aren't good for us, they actually are very good for our health. So they're very good for our heart health, our hormonal health, and also keeping us full. So I would never advise anyone to remove fat from their diet completely. So just please try and not to listen to certain people or industries that tell you not to consume nuts, or question them about it, you know, because they might not actually have reasonings behind it. It might just be, oh, because they contain fat. But when it comes to fat, what's really important is the type of fat that the food contains. So I hope you found that interesting. Please send me over any questions on these myths or any other myths that you have that you want to dispel. And I'll see you next time.